All right, folks, it's back in action here. In this video, we're going to go through the remaining 3 examples for our double and half angle formulas. We're going to jump in here on example 3, taking a look at this tangent of pi over 12. Now, the reason this example is particularly important is it highlights the fact that some problems can actually be done 2 different ways. So tangent of pi over 12, we've already discussed in class that pi over 12 is 15 degrees. So this problem could actually be done as a sum and difference formula of 45 minus 30. Now, a lot of students actually like that better. Since the purpose of this video is to discuss double and half angle formulas, I'm going to do this problem as a half angle formula so that you can see what it would look like in that method. Either method is going to be fine, even if your answers look different. So we would rewrite this problem first as a tangent of 1/2, and then we'd say pi over 6. So that way we can see what angle it is that we're trying to divide. Now, when we do that and we go to set up our formula, remember we have 3 options of formulas, but the easiest one, truthfully, to work with is going to be this last one right here. So when I set that up, I'm going to do 1 minus my cosine theta, and that's going to divide by sine theta. Now, the theta that we're particularly looking at is the angle that's being divided, not the final answer. So when I substitute this in, I'm going to substitute in my pi over 6. So I'll rewrite this as 1 minus cosine of pi over 6, and that'll be divided by the sine of pi over 6. Now we can simply just substitute. We'll have our 1 minus, of course, pi over 6 is a radical 3 over 2, and sine of pi over 6 is a nice 1/2. And then we've been here before in this idea of getting the denominator and the numerator to match, the denominator and the denominator to make it easier for us. So I would rewrite this 1 as a 2 over 2. Now I can see that these denominators will just cancel, and boy, the problem turns out pretty simple. I'm just left with 2 minus the square root of 3. So that is one method of doing it, but again, if you don't see it, you could certainly use the 45 minus 30 on our sum and difference. Now we're going to go into a cosecant problem, and I just want you guys to be able to see one of these worked out because they are fairly intense, having to work it one way and then do the reciprocal. So the first thing that we're going to look at is let's consider this 7 pi over 8. Since 7 pi over 8 lands in the second quadrant and cosecant is positive in the second quadrant, thus sine is positive in the second quadrant, we are going to choose the plus when we go to do our plus and minus. Now, what we're going to also do is we're going to rewrite this. We're going to say cosecant, we want to identify what angle has been divided in 2. So we're going to say 1/2 of 7 pi over 4. We're going to work the whole problem as a sine problem first. Okay, so we're going to say sine, and we've already predetermined that we're going to do the plus. So we'll have our square root, and then we're going to have our 1/2, and I'm just following the formula from the top of the page, and we're going to do 1 minus, and then we're going to do the cosine of 7 pi over 4. So the cosine of 7 pi over 4 is a positive radical 2 over 2. So I've got my nice radical 2 over 2 there. Then we're going to get our common denominator inside this little parentheses. Didn't close the back end there. Then what we can do is we can split this apart. Well, actually, no, that's not true. I'll write it together for you first. I'll have a 2 minus a radical 2 over a 4. Sometimes that middle step is a little easier for us to see. Then I'm going to have my 2 minus my radical 2, and the square root of 4 is 2. That's going to be the sine of the 7 pi over 8. Now what we want to do is we want to do the cosecant of this, and this is where it's going to get kind of crazy because we're going to take that answer and we need to use its reciprocal. So we're going to rewrite this as a 2 over the square root of 2 minus a radical 2. Now we're going to have to rationalize. And since we actually have a radical inside a radical, we're going to double rationalize. So we'll do the first one first. First, I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 2 minus radical 2, square root of 2 minus radical 2. That's going to give me a new numerator, and it's going to look really crazy, of 2 times this square root, 2 minus radical 2, all over. Now my new denominator is just 2 minus radical 2. The outside radical is now gone. Now I'm going to rationalize again, and when I rationalize again, I'm going to multiply the top and bottom, and mine's really scrunchy here. Hopefully this will be able to fit. Okay, then I'm going to multiply the top and bottom of a 2 plus the radical 2, that conjugate, 2 plus a radical 2. And when we FOIL this, it's going to get pretty crazy. So what we're doing is we're taking this whole number here, because think of this as like a 2 times the square root of 5. It's just a single really value here, even though that radicand is messy. And we're just going to distribute it to each part, okay? So we're going to distribute, and we're going to distribute. So the new numerator becomes 4 and the square root of 2 minus radical 2 plus, now I'm going to have my 2 on the outside, and then I'm multiplying the 2 radicals. So the outside piece was 2, and then I'm taking this radical 2 minus radical 2 times the radical 2, which means I'm actually multiplying these radicands. It looks really complicated, I know. You might need to pause this video. So the new radicand is going to be 4 minus 2 radical 2, and that's all over when I FOIL the denominator, that's going to give me a 4 minus a 2. Of course, 4 minus 2 is just 2, and then that 2 is going to reduce with these 2's. So this 2 is going to cancel, and this one will cancel, and this will be left with the 2. So we could go ahead and write our final answer. That's going to be 2 square root of 2 minus radical 2. I'm sorry this is so messy. Plus the square root of 4 minus 2 radical 2. Now, we're not going to actually probably see a ton of these, but it is important that you do see one fully worked out and you kind of get your head around that. Now, our last example here is actually going to be the easiest one of the whole page, and we are just going to marry in that idea of the inverses. So when we take a look at what we're given, we've got some angle here. We can see that we want to do a double angle because we've got this cosine of 2 times something. We're just going to rename this one right here. I'm just going to call it A, okay? So that I can think of this as really the cosine of 2A. Now, what we've done in the past is we've taken that A and we've drawn a nice triangle for this because it's not from our unit circle. Since it's tangent, I'm going to go into the 4th quadrant. I'll put a nice A here to remind me that that's what's happening. Tangent is, of course, opposite over adjacent, so I can stick my -4 and my 3, and it's a beautiful triple. Since this problem is now really cosine of 2A, then I can rewrite this as cosine of A plus A. Of course, you could just memorize the formulas on the top, but I do like you guys to see how you can do it without. So I'm going to have cosine A for my cosine. Since it's a plus, I'm going to make this a minus, and then my sine. So sine A. And then I'm back to just looking at the triangle again. So I'm going to have cosine times cosine, so I'm going to look at this triangle, opposite or adjacent over hypotenuse. So I'm going to have a 3/5, and I'm going to square it. And then my sine is going to be my opposite over my hypotenuse, and it's going to be squared, so a -4/5 squared. And then when I clean all that up, I'm going to get a nice 9 over 25 minus, because remember when I square the negative, it just flips to a positive, so I still have a minus, 16 over 25. So my final answer is a negative 7 over 25. So the most complicated one in this video is most definitely that cosecant. Make sure that you can follow all those radicals. Maybe even when you're done, try working out the problem on your own and see if you can get to that same answer again. All right, and that's all that we've got for double and half angles.